All right, this is our new upper room GUV fixture. What we want to do is kind of give you a little bit of a heads up on some nuances that you're going to encounter when you're setting this up for the first time. So there is a screw tab that you unscrew to loosen the fins or the louvers up from the main body, and you want to fold these things forward. They're attached with a hinge the full length of the product. You're going to open it up and this is what you're going to see. The bulb, right now we're having the bulb installed, so I'm going to remove the bulb from the tombstones. On this first production run, the tombstones are a little closer together than I would like, so they do require some finesse to get the bulb in place. I'm going to pull out the bulb and I'm going to hold it at an angle so I can actually remove the bulb from the housing. Bulb out. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to have to remove the reflector from the main housing. And it's fairly easy. It's not held in here with any screws or anything like that. It's just put into place. Now what I've just done is I've removed or loosened up the top portion of it. And I'm going to go down to the bottom. And you have to be careful with this. I do recommend wearing gloves so that you don't cut yourself on the metal. And you're just going to kind of loosen this from being fixed in place, and you're going to remove it. You notice that it looks a little yellow. Well, there is a yellow piece of plastic over the surface of this reflective material. So this is our reflector. So I'm going to set it aside for the moment. Now, looking at the inside of the fixture, there are 4 holes that require bolts to be put into the wall. We're using a toggle system that each bolt is capable of holding 100 pounds. You don't have to go that heavy, but the screws, the screw holes and keyholes were kind of designed around that particular piece of hardware, which we'll show you a picture of. And you want to get your holes mounted. You're going to figure your place on the wall where you're going to mount it. The bottom of the fixture needs to be a minimum of 7 feet above ground level. And I recommend going maybe a little higher. 7.5 feet is probably a good distance if you're in a 9-foot ceiling. It comes with a luminaire disconnect, which is required by UL.
Show us that again.
Okay, so this is the luminaire disconnect, and it is something that needs to be in place. We can't bypass this when we're putting this hardwired to a building. This allows you to disconnect power from building power so that you can easily work on the system without being shocked or electrocuted. Ground wire. So the 3 wires to be attached to building power is your line, black, neutral, white, and green ground. And all of those are right here. Power entry points are going to be one on the top if you need it, one on the back if you need it, and 2 on the very bottom, 1 on each end. So you can come up from making a modification to your existing wall outlet box and using surface conduit to bring power to these fixtures. Here's the on-off switch. It's illuminated. So when you have the thing hooked up correctly, you will see this will shine red. In addition to you seeing the blue light from the UVC bulb. There's also a safety mechanism in here that when you open the door, this makes it so that the bulb cannot be on. There's no power going to the unit if the door is not closed. So once you open the door, this kicks out and turns power off to the unit, just as a redundant safety precaution. So once you have the thing mounted on the wall and secured to the wall, it's going to be suspended like this. And what you're going to do at that point is you're going to take your reflector and you're going to insert it into the fixture. You're going to make sure that your wires are to the top and the bottom corners of the housing so that you can actually fit this in place and not have the fittings in here other than the wire just interfere with the fitment of this into the actual fixture itself. So once you are ready, you're going to just kind of slide this into place. Typically we'll push the bottom into place first. There are rivets that hold the louvers onto a hinge. And what I do is I put the bottom edge of this up against those rivets.
Just point to the rivets.
There's 1 rivet, 2 rivet, 3 rivet, 4 rivet. So you're not going to hit them all. And then you're going to kind of center this between the 2 tombstone holders. So the tombstone holders, where they come to an end, is about the same on each end. So you're just going to center this reflector between the 2 tombstone holders. And then the top, you're just going to push this top part up so that the top edge fits into this crease or bend at the top of the fixture. What you also have to do at this point is the rubber or plastic coating. What you want to do is you want to get it and you peel it away. And you see how there's a shiny, how shiny that is. That's going to help the reflectivity of the bulb. I'm not going to remove the whole thing.
Right.
But that's the gist of it is you're going to remove this after you have it installed to the wall. Excuse me. And then that's going to give you your reflective background for the bulb.
That's right. And they want to wait to take that plastic off once they've done the installation in order to minimize
The
fingerprints.
And one of the things when you're cleaning and servicing this, you need to clean this with an alcohol solution as well as the bulb, because alcohol is going to get all the fingerprints and whatever dust and particles like that that get involved or implanted on that. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the bulb, and after you have the bulb in place, I'm going to leave the protective coating on it just simply because I want to do that. But you're going to have to put the bulb in at an angle. So you can put one corner up in the top corner of the fixture and the other one, and you've got very minimal room, but you've got enough room that the pins are going to clear that opening. Then I'm going to come back down to this, the left-hand side of the fixture, and I'm going to fit the 2 pins into the tombstone on that end, so they're fit in there correctly. Then I'll come to the opposite end, and you notice it's a very tight fit. It's almost like there's not enough room for the bulb. Well, it will work. You have to take your finger and just gently force the bulb into position, rotate it 90 degrees, either direction, so that it's secured and ready to be turned on. At this point, you'll have taken the plastic off, you'll have the bulb installed, and if the fixture is hanging, you'll then be ready to close the louver assembly, and you'll notice a click. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but that's the safety mechanism actually saying that it's closed. Then you can use the thumb screw insert here to screw into the top of the housing to secure the louver assembly. And then at this point, if the fixture's on the wall, you'll be ready to turn the power switch on, at which point you don't want to be in the pathway of the light or radiation coming off of the bulb. You turn that fixture on, this will illuminate, you'll see blue light coming out of here, clear away, and then you check your installation with a UVC light meter, which we don't have one here at the office, but you will check and hold that indicator on a 7-foot pole, and you'll check different areas of the room to make sure that there is no UVC light coming at an area of 7 feet or below. You can actually stick it up into the zone of radiation, and then you'll see that there's actual radiation coming off the bulb in the upper tier of the room, which is what the whole design is about. If you notice, the angle of this is about 5 degrees, which forces the light to go up and not down, and that is basically your very first introduction to the upper room GUV, knowing that we've got a few things that we just have to pay special attention to until we get used to it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Beautiful.